this is Robyn. Thank you so much for visiting mypinkstamper.com. Today I have a new tutorial video for you. I'm going to be doing a little bit of watercoloring as well as working with our window sheets with the STAZ on ink pad. So we will go ahead and jump in and get started. I'm going to be working with the Leave a Little Sparkle stamp set. This is a beautiful stamp set, so I wanted to do something just kind of a little bit different, a little bit more magical, right, with this unicorn. And okay, let's just jump in. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm happy that you're here. You can find more information on my website, mypinkstamper.com, and everything you see in today's video is available on my shopping page, mypinkstamper.stampinup.net. Okay, so we'll start. What's the very first thing? Okay, I'm going to start with a piece of our watercolor paper, and this is cut in half. So they come in sheets of, I believe, 5 by 7. So I cut it down. You can get 2 of the backgrounds from each sheet, and this is 3.5 by 4.5 inches. And we're going to be doing a little bit of watercolor wash-ish. I'm using just a surface that I can put my ink on, so you can use a plate, or if you have a palette, I'm using one of our acrylic blocks. And I am going to start with our Coastal Cabana. Actually, grab Bermuda Bay. I think that'll work. I'm going to use Bermuda Bay ink. I meant to say Bermuda. And I'm going to put a little bit on this block right here. And then we're going to be using our AQUA painter. Comes in a set of 2 with different sized tips. And this just has water in the barrel, so I just filled it with water. And I'm just going to squeeze the water on here. See the water coming out? And I'm going to make it, you can have it dark or light. I want it to be kind of light. I want it to be really, really wet. And I'm going to just kind of just pull it in like that. And I don't need a lot, so this is enough. This ink back here is enough on here to do maybe 4 or 5 cards. So I'll set that aside. And I'm just going to take a towel, or this is just a wet wipe. Just going to clean this off until it runs clear. And now I'm going to be using, whoops. I'm going to grab the Granny Apple Green re-inker. I'm going to put that up here at the top. You can set these aside as I'm done with them. I'm going to try to make it so this isn't a super long video. The technique videos usually tend to go a little bit longer. I put a little bit too much ink again. That's okay. All right, so I'm going to start at the bottom, and do you notice how I'm not going all the way to the side? So I just want like that. I don't want it to touch the bottom. It doesn't really, it can. And I just want it to be like that. Perfect. And now on the other side, I'll go ahead and run this clean again. Just squeeze it until it's clean. You can also rinse it off in your sink. I'm going to put a little bit of the purple. I'm used to doing more than 1 card at a time, so that's why I'm probably squeezing way too much ink on here. I made a bunch of these for one of our team swaps. We do monthly swaps on my team of pink stampers, and I made quite a bit of these. All right. And I'm going to, this can be light, dark. And it's always good to start light because you can go darker. It's really hard to go lighter after you already have the dark absorbed in the paper. Okay, so now that is that, and I can set that aside for a second, and that can just dry on its own, or you can use our heat tool to help it go a little bit faster. And I'll just go ahead and just wipe these off. I'm not going to be making any more cards right now. If I was, then I would be ready, but I've already made a bunch of this design. I might edit that out so you don't have to see it, or I might keep it in because, you know, I don't really like to edit all my videos. It just takes too long. All right, the next thing, let's go ahead and take our window sheet. These come in 12 by 12 sheets. You get 2 in a pack. And this is cut the same size, so this is 3.5 by 4.5. And you probably can't see it very well. It's kind of blending into my background, but it's there. And I'm going to be using the STAZ ink. Our STAZ ink pad is good for watercoloring. So if you're stamping, if you want to use just our regular markers, or if you want to do watercolor with one of our stamp sets, I recommend the STAZ ink pad. It won't run. If you're using our Stampin' Blends inks, our Stampin' Blend pens, you want to use the Memento, but for the STAZ, it's good for that. It's also good for stamping on non-porous surfaces, like the window sheet, or if you're working with glass or tile or anything like that. Okay. And I'm going to stamp that on here. Hopefully I can get it on okay. Press it down, and then I have a beautiful unicorn on there. And that's all I need the STAZ on for, so I can put that away along with my stamp set. And I'm just going to set that aside. This actually dries pretty fast, but just to be sure, I don't like to touch it right away. Now we're going to do a little bit of our heat embossing. And I have a piece of our Whisper White cardstock. And this is just a scrap. So I will take, anytime I do heat embossing, I always use our embossing buddy. And this helps with static, so you don't get the little flecks of, you don't get the flecks of embossing powder everywhere. I'm using the VERSAMARK. And I'm using our silver embossing powder, and I've just thrown it into a Tupperware container, a plastic container that I got from the dollar store. I usually have like 3 or 4 in there at once. And did I say I'm using the VERSAMARK? This is the VERSAMARK. It's our watermark stamp pad, but it's also used for embossing. I'm going to stamp this kind of in the middle because I'm going to be cutting this out with one of our dies shortly. Okay, so it says believe. Now I'm going to take our heat tool, and this doesn't take very long. You just point it and start at the end. I always have it facing away from me because it gets very hot, and you could get burned. You see it changing consistency, and it's done. So that's embossed right there. I can set that aside. Now I'm going to fold this piece in half. This is a piece of our Bermuda Bay Coastal Cabana cardstock. It's cut at 5.5 by 8.5 inches. Fold this over. And now I'm going to be stamping, I forgot to take it out. I'm stamping this little, right here, this little background. And you're not going to see a lot of it, but I'll kind of show you what I'm doing. So I'm going to ink this up with our VERSAMARK. I have it on a pretty big block right now, and I want this on the top right. It's going to be the top right, and then I'm going to, I forgot to put the embossing buddy, so I'm going to have to make sure that I really tap it. So this is what happens if you don't use the embossing buddy. So it kind of just sticks everywhere. I'm going to give it a good flick, and I got a lot of it off. Now I'm going to also use the heat tool for this. And it'll be nice and shiny in just a second. I just think heat embossing is so therapeutic. Just the hum of my heat tool, watching the embossing powder melt on my cardstock. It's just so relaxing. So I have that. Now I can set that aside. And I'm going to pull out my Big Shot and put this on here. And I'm going to grab the oval framelit. This is from our Layering Ovals dies set. Comes with smooth ovals of different sizes and also scalloped ovals. And that's all we're using that for. I just wanted a quick little oval. Now we can start putting this together, but I want to make sure that my background, well, it's still kind of damp, so I'm going to go ahead and just take our heat tool. I'm going to add this piece. Well, actually, let's put this together. So let's take our window sheet and put this on top of here. So it should fit perfectly on top of here. Now it's really hard to put the window sheet on without seeing the adhesive through it. So this is how I got around that. I'm going to be using our glimmer enamel dots, and I'm going to grab the Coastal Cabana. I'm going to put one in the corner up here and one in the corner over here. I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to be using the Granny Apple. I'm coordinating, if you can kind of see, I'm matching my watercolor. And I'm going to grab another piece, another one over here. Okay. And now I'm going to take just some of our glue dots. I told you this video would be a little bit longer, but hopefully you're learning something new or just enjoying this really fun unicorn stamp set. Leave a little sparkle. I'm adding the dots just right behind the glimmer enamel dots on the other side. So you can't see, but now it is going to be able to, I got something on there. It's going to be able to just stick right on here. Just like that. I have it on there. Just like that. Now I'm going to turn this over. And I'm going to grab some of our snail adhesive, and I'm putting this on all 4 sides just because it was watercolor and it's a little bit textured, and just want to make sure it stays on. This is a piece of our basic black cardstock. This is cut just a 1/4 inch wider and longer and taller. This is 3 3/4 by 4 3/4 inches, and that gives you a nice, it pulls out the black from the window sheet. And now we're going to go ahead and turn this over, add some adhesive. And I'm going to put this right here on the bottom so you can just see a little bit of the emboss coming through. It kind of is like the unicorn has magical powers and it's coming behind the cardstock. Now I'm going to take some of our Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm going to add 2 to the back of the oval. Whoops. And we're going to add this on here like this, just right over here, I believe. And I'm going to take one of our rhinestones. These are self-adhesive, adhesive backed. And I'm going to put one right here on the unicorn's little cute little, you know, I almost said antler, but horn. I don't know what I was thinking for a second. And there's another one that I made. So this is super easy. I challenge you to try this technique if you haven't tried it before. This one I chose to do it a little bit darker, and this one I did it lighter. And I think they both look really super amazing. And if you would like to see more video tutorials delivered to your email box, don't forget to thumbs up this video and subscribe, and you can find all of the product on my shopping page, mypinkstamper.stampinup.net. And I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.